Saludos programas, bienvenidos, welcome in, konnichiwa. Welcome to this, Los Lobos de Lucha, here to talk to you about the CMLL versus Spectacular that happened this past week. But we can't do this review without our faithful crew here, which we got a full crew. So first, let's say, go ahead and say hi, Mikey.
Hi, Mikey.
There we go. It's El Jefe. And also joining us again, very happy to see a healthy Papa Oso. How you doing, Papa Oso?
Hola, everyone. I'm doing fantastico.
Fantastic. And I am at El Buntador El Segundo. And we're happy to hear. And our primo on the street, Agent Lo-Fi, at home watching the CMLL Informa. So he'll be chiming in with that going on. But we are here to talk about Viernes Espectacular that happened this past week, May 2nd, 2025. Yet another special show where we saw CMLL facing off against MLW. And it was overall, I think it was a very fun and entertaining show, but we're going to get to that. I do have to send a shout out real quick. CMLL at Arena Mexico, they started this whole ramp camera thing, which I fell in love with. So don't be surprised, because throughout today's review, I will be sharing pictures from the ramp camera view, so you see what I mean. But let's get this show off with our first match, which saw Amazona action with Reina Isis facing off against Alejandra Quintanilla from MLW fame. This was started off like a very graceful match, ended up to just be a slobber knocker. We did get Reina Isis, who hit Alejandra with a guillotine, and then straight into a plancha for the 1-2-3. Triunfo, Reina Isis. So, Mikey, because we know that Reina Isis is etu Reina, tell us, what do you think of this match?
So, as being part of the MLW crew, we are getting a small introduction and knowing a little bit more of Miss Quintanilla over here, because she's been popping in wrestling. She's in MLW. She's been more on a losing streak, but that is okay. Because initially, when we got the card, what was it, like a month and a half, 2 months ago? It was originally going to be Reina and Janai Kai, but Janai was not present on the card, so hopefully she's not injured. But I think this is a great showcasing for, Miss Quintanilla over here. And I thought she did a great. And of course, my girl, Reina Isis, love her to death. Also doing a great thing. I think this was a fun match, and I think this is exactly what it needed to be, to kind of bring in our unofficial co-host a little bit, where Agent Lo-Fi's predictions were that we would see a CMLL sweep. We kind of saw that for the majority of this whole entire part. So Reina Isis starting things out for CMLL. So this was a fun match. I really enjoyed it. And yes, it started out as a graceful kind of typical, like, oh, look how pretty two damn they beating each other up, which is great. I love it.
Yeah, Papa. Also, what do you have to add there?
Well, when I watched it, first thing I was like, Reina Isis, where have you been? I remember seeing her when we first started watching CMLL. We used to see her all the time, and then she just sort of disappeared, and I didn't know where she had gone. So I was just like, oh, well, yay, because I freaking love her. And I thought it was pretty. This match was actually really cool. I really liked this match a lot. And I think it was funny because they were very civil, sort of sweet at the beginning, and then they just sort of annihilated one another. And I have to agree with that. I thought it started out all kind of professional, quote unquote, and then it just escalated into them just whooping each other's butts, and it was so awesome. And I do love the Amazonas. They are my favorites. So I loved it.
Yes. Definitely. I just want to send a shout out to Alejandra Quintanilla. I'm not sure. I know that she is coming from El Salvador. I'm not sure how much of a wrestling background she has from there. However, she worked really well with Reina Isis, who is, for all intents and purposes, a veteran in CMLL. They put on a great match. So yep, Triunfo, Reina Isis. It was a great way to start the night. And coming up on the news wire right now, we got some announcements. La Jarochita is going to be facing off against Thunder Rosa. Fantastic Mania, June 20th. Good one. That's going to be a good one. And then this one is going to be hot. We're going to see the Chavez brothers, Los Hermanos Chavez, Angel Oro, and Niebla Roja versus Leo Rush and Action Andretti, and Máscara Dorada versus Bandito. Interesting. Very nice. So, and I'm sure Agent Lo-Fi, gracias, primo. I'm sure Agent Lo-Fi will continue to feed us the deets as they come up. But we're going to continue on with the show and on to our next match, which we saw a very interesting pairing from MLW, in my opinion, in Ikuro Kwan and Donovan Dijak versus 2/3 of our favorite ghost ship, El Galeon Fantasma, Zandakan Jr. and Barbosa. Whereas the first match, the Amazonas match with Reina and Alejandra, started out very majestic. This was just a straight out brawl. In the end, through shenanigans, we do see Ikuro Kwan and Donovan Dijak coming out with the W. let's bring it to you first, Will. I know that you did have some words about Donovan Dijak, but yeah, what'd you think of this match?
Well, I actually really enjoyed the match. The match was insanely brutal, and I love that. You know, I think, and it's funny because like these sort of crossover matches, I guess you might say, they tend to be a lot more brutal than like when the luchador only sort of matches happen. Because I would say that the luchador like matches are really pretty. They're choreographed. They feel dancy and beautiful. And this one was not that at all. It was extremely brutal, and I loved it. And yes, it was funny when I was watching it and Dijak walked out. I sent the text in the group. I was just, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like freaking Dijak. Shit. But he was perfect. I mean, they were perfect for you. The team they had was great. I thought they worked great. So it was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. I just was like, Dijak, dang it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
All right, El Jefe, what'd you think?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to put Will on blast too, because both of us have had a long history with this current iteration of Mr. Dijak over here. So it's been really fun to see him transition into where we have seen him in MLW and CMLL and some of the other independent stuff. I loved this match for two reasons. Number one, I thought that Dijak and Zandokin definitely had some really good chemistry together, and I would love to see them go more one-on-one. Yeah, Agent Lo-Fi, thank you for the thoughts too, because I agree with him. And the other thing too, and I've said this on multiple occasions across multiple reviews too, because my interest was piqued when we saw Ikuru in the Grand Prix, though he didn't get too much time to shine during the Grand Prix. And since then, I'm just like, I'm really digging his style, and it makes me excited because this is just a taste. I can't imagine if this is what Ikuru brings to a tag team match with 2/3 as our favorite Ghost Ship Galleon crew. I can't even imagine, and I get to break that news later at the end of the show, to see what he does against two very different styles of luchadors, but very also top level luchadors as well. So this was great. I love this match, and it was such a fun back and forth.
Yeah, so early when I started, I said it was a very interesting pairing because Donovan Dijak and Ikuda Kwan, when in MLW, they are on, dare I say, two different sides of the fence here. Ikuda Kwan is part of Contra, which is effectively MLW's big heel faction. I don't want to say Donovan Dijak is. I mean, he has taken a more of a heel turn, but he definitely is kind of like doing his own thing. So seeing those two work together and actually work together really well, I enjoyed having Ikuda Kwan staying in the ring and then Donovan Dijak just outside of the ring terrorizing people. Um, I and Zandikan Jr. and Barbosa, week in and week out when we talk about them, they're both fantastic. So enough cannot be said about Zandikan Jr. and Barbosa. But I had to laugh. It did take me back to my childhood, where at the end of the match, Donovan Dijak just started choke slams all around. You get one, and you get one, and you get one. It was fantastic. Took me back to my childhood watching wrestling. So the hodgepodge tag team of Ikuda Kwan and Donovan Dijak do pick up the win. This brings us to our first championship match of the night, where we see our MLW tag team champions Kojima Okamura otherwise known as Cozy Max, facing off against Los Depredadores, Magnus and Rugido. And this is what they were fighting for. I thoroughly enjoy that CMLL does this, where they have everyone come in and showing off the belt. Very good match, great match. When I went back and watched it for a second time, I enjoyed it even more. We have new tag team champions for MLW in Magnus and Rugido. So, Mikey, let's start with you. What did you think?
So it's no secret that, well, I mean, it's no secret too that Cozy Max had gotten those tag team championships back not too long ago. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see how long Cozy Max holds it. They didn't hold it for very long because I think we've only had maybe like 2 months tops with them in their second reign. And the fact that they lost it to Los Depredadores of Magnus and Rugido shocked me, but like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I think, and Agent Lo-Fi might disagree with me a little bit, but it's been very interesting seeing the working relationship between these two companies since, I myself have gotten a chance to watch and review both CMLL and MLW and be introduced to all the workings between the working relationship. I will say, though, the only real critique I have, but this is not really a critique because I'm expected of this. We look at Magnus and Rugido. Luchadors, they are, energetic. They are high flying. They are, for all intents and purposes, on the younger side of things. I look at Cozy Max and I'm just like, these are my two grandpas fighting and I love them. But we all know that they can't move as much as they possibly can. I will say,
They try, though.
They
They
try,
try.
which is fantastic, and I love them. I will say I am excited to see who we end up having Magnus and Rugido face over their reign as MLW Tag Team Champions and to see who gets put in front of their past. So I think it's a fun one, but this was a fun match in the sense that I already knew this wasn't going to be, I'm not expecting Okamura and, Kojima to be flying all over the place. However, this was just fun. It warmed my little heart.
Indeed. Papa Oso, how did you enjoy this match?
I did enjoy it because I love Okamura. I love him. Okamura is amazing. Every time I see him in the ring, I'm just like, you go, dude. Because I know he's up there in age, but man, I mean, even in the little bit of time I've known him, I have seen him start to slow down a little bit, but he is still all in. I love that. I absolutely, he is jumping and flying, and I mean, you go, dude. And so I really did enjoy the two of them. Of course, Magnus and Rugido, I mean, yeah, it's like, I also was just sort of like, oh wow, you're gonna put them up against Magnus and Rugido. Okay. All right. Okay. I was like, please. I was really kind of hoping, and this is like no diss by any means, but I was kind of hoping we didn't break any hips or anything like that, because those boys they're young and strong, and our guys here they're getting up there in age, and and there was a couple of moments I was a little worried, but overall I really enjoyed it because I truly do love watching Okamura work. I just love and Kojima as well. I mean, I like the two of them together. I do enjoy them, but I just love Okamura. I just love him. I think he's fantastic. So, yay! I'm glad that Magnus and Hirohito got the belts, and they're gonna go and do their thing. And I'm curious as well to see who their first opponents are going to be. That'll be interesting.
Yep, I concur. I'm interested to see who their first defense will be against. I liked the match. The ending to me, it fell into that trap that I don't like, because I felt like for a good portion of the match that Cozy Max dare I say, dominated the match. It was interesting that Rugido and Magnus didn't do as much high flying as I normally see them doing. The ending felt very abrupt. Did you guys feel that way at all, or am I alone on my island?
No, I think yeah.
Okay.
And honestly and truly, and this is where I was starting to get worried, because I felt that, Okamura and I felt they were getting tired. I felt that they were starting to wind down. And I think that they're getting to a point where they might get hurt. And I think that's kind of why it rushed. At least that's what I believe. That's the way it felt for me.
Okay. Mikey?
I have to agree again because of, and again, normally, to quote Agent Lo-Fi in our comment section, age is real, and not everyone can be as tough as Blue Panther is, honestly. Which, but I do have to say, because I say this in love, because I know that, looking at Blue Panther and then looking at Kojima and Okamura, you have to kind of get a better understanding of their schools of training. Whereas Blue Panther grew up, doing lucha libre, all that stuff. So there's a lot of risks to it, but there's also a lot of athleticism and requires your body to be some sort of springiness, even if you get up in there at age, and learn how to kind of think 5 steps ahead. Because if flying around doesn't work, we have seen luchadors are more grounded. There are power luchadors, well rounders, all that stuff. I look at Okamura and Kojima, who, of course, their primary school of training is that Japanese strong style, which is very hard hits, hard chops, those things. So they learned could take a punch and take a hit, but over time, as we've seen with some of the current stars over in, New Japan, who are currently getting surgeries, wishing you luck, Mr. Tetsuya Naito, that style of wrestling can wear and tear on the body. So I kind of figured this match wasn't going to go more than maybe 10 minutes, because again, Kojima and Okamura are getting up there in age. Their bodies are kind of finally catching up with them for the years and the years of the strong style. And so they kind of got gassed at the end. Whereas it's unfortunate, but to be expected when we're talking about, 50 plus something year olds taking on the young bucks, so to speak, here. I love them dearly, but yeah, I think we probably have like maybe 2-3 more years until they start to head towards the retirement road for Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah, fair. It was still a very entertaining match. I got to see my Kojima slaps, so I was satisfied. I do want to send a shout out to Magnus. The mask that you see Magnus wearing is not his normal style mask. He normally wears a mask style more like I have, where the mouth is open. I felt like he kind of did a retro thing for the show. I could be wrong, but these were the vibes I was getting. He kind of went with a retro look. So shout out for that. I felt that was cool. Going old school to pick up the belts. So congratulations, Magnus and Rugido, your new MLW Tag Team Champions. So if you like the wrestling, which if you're watching us, you probably like the wrestling, then you should check out all the other things we do, and check us out on the interwebs. You can find us on all the social medias. We are on Instagrams. We are on, did I say Instagrams? I think I said Instagrams. I said Instagrams. I'm 48. Deal with it. We're on the Instagrams. We're on the Threads. We're on the YouTube. We're on the Twitch. We're on the Blue Sky. We have merch. bcwrestlepod.creatorspring.com. We got a Patreon, one of them Patreon things. So, if you want to buy us a coffee, that'd be fantastic, because I need more coffee in my life at BC WrestlePod. So check us out. Coming up for the rest of the week, really quick plug. Tomorrow, Thursday, May 8th, we have our Progress Strong Style 16 review, where we will be reviewing the Progress show. That will be happening 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Saturday, May 10th, we are going to be having our MLW and CMLL Azteca Lucha watch along. Our watch along will be starting at 9:50 p.m. where we're going to go over the card and do a little tiki-taki. And then we're going to watch the show. You can watch the show for free on the MLW YouTube channel. So if you haven't, go subscribe and go watch some free wrestling. I feel it's going to be a good show. And then on Sunday, May 11th, we have our weekly WWE Dual Dynasty review at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Did I get it right, Mikey?
11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Listen, I appreciate you. It is great. So, just a program note: there may or may not be a Sunday review, depending on certain things. When we talk to the crew, because we are dealing with the Backlash pay-per-view being the day before, so it's kind of weird talking about go-home shows when the pay-per-view happened the night before. So, stay tuned to the socials for all that information and more on reviews later.
Ay, qué dramático. Okay. But getting back to this Viernes Spectacular, we move on to our match Relampago, a very fun match, pitting yet another, dare I say, veteran in Paul London, facing off against Neon. And
this was still a weird matchup. Like, even before the match began, we talked about this for weeks, and I was like, how is this going to go? Dare I say, I feel like I kind of have to eat crow, because I'm like, Sir Paul London, I did not know that you wrestled that way. So I tip my hat to you. It still was a really weird match on paper, but I enjoyed it.
Yes, and on my second watch through, I enjoyed it even more. Dare I say, this is going on the whiteboard for my top 10 matches of the year so far. But let Papa also, why don't you chime in? Go ahead and tell us, what did you think about Zod facing off against Neon?
It was fun. It was a fun match. It was fun.
You have to put a question mark.
Do what?
You're like, it was fun?
It was fun and funny, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. But he was my Trailer Park Zod, and I was kind of here for it. so yeah, it was fun. I mean, I did not know this guy. I don't know who this man is, so I had to look him up while I was watching it. But I mean, it was fun. It literally, when he came out, I was like, oh, it was just Zod. That's all I could think of, and a really poor rendition of him. But and then of course Neon was in his like 1980s like great that costume he was wearing. I was just like gonna poke somebody's eye out with it. But no, it was a fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I did, and I like Neon. I loved his whole everything. He's just fun to watch. And I think also then at the end of it, when Mr. London like boot kicked him in the face, I was just like, "Ow, dude!"
That was a very interesting ending. Really quick, Agent Lo-Fi, that was about as good as you could get with them, but he didn't care for the finish. So in the end, this match did end up in a draw, in Pahe, where we went to 10 minutes and no one got a pinfall. I don't know. To me, I felt like having them call that draw. I want to see more. Like I wish there was at least another minute or two added on to the match, to see who would have taken it out. I thought it was really entertaining. Like I said, this is currently on the whiteboard for top 10 just for how entertaining Paul London was to the crowd, working the crowd over. Paul London in MLW is normally billed to us like a baby face more, if you will. So to see him really heal it up, I mean, after the match, he attacked Neon, and Neon attacked him. They almost like fought all the way up the ramp and off. It was actually kind of funny because Paul London like jumped out and like ran like a little scared kid to the back. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's Mikey?
So to kind of add on to what you're saying, El Buntador, like Paul, yes, I agree. Paul London was being more Healy, but in the sense of he is very, and I'm pulling at some straws here, but he's giving me like, the John Goodman Flintstone villain vibes, where it's just more of a comedic heel than anything else.
Yeah,
So I was like, it was very Flintstone-y, very over the top, very camp. And you know what? Paul London is the MLW Elvis impersonator because he also had the cape too in his whole entire entrance. I cannot unsee it because Mama Laguillo was passing by when I was watching this. He's like, "Is that Elvis wrestling?" I'm like, "It's not," but now I can't unsee it.
That's funny. I mean, I do want to just Paul London did have some really good offense in there. He like that the one damn it, what the hell is it called? When he jumped on top of Neon. Yeah, I can't remember, and I didn't write down what it was called. The Lanza, when he hit that Lanza on Neon on the outside of the ring, that looked vicious. And Neon again, our typical high flyer, not really flying that high this match. So kudos to Paul London for being able to ground Neon's attack. We did get a few nice moves from Neon off the top rope, but like his normal, like he didn't do that normal like jumping from one to another maneuver and whatnot. Yep. So we end in a draw in this match, and this brings us to our next championship match. This I felt was I don't want to jump the shark. Where we see the champion Matthew Justice defending his belt against Ultimo Guerrero, and this is for the free weight MLW championship. Wow, wowie, wow. In the end, Ultimo Guerrero does end up as the new MLW openweight champion. And Mikey, let's start with you. Go ahead.
So it is no secret because of all the promotions I watch, which people are like, Mikey, how you can watch so much wrestling? And the answer to that is, what is sleep? I'm just kidding. No. But I'm very familiar with Matthew Justice only because of the things I've seen him do in MLW, but he was also made GCW appearances as well. And you know what? I love him to death. But my gosh, when I tell you that, not to say that Ultimo Guerrero has not fought his little heart out every single time he's on my screen, because he always does. But this was whereas the tag team match was kind of let down because our champions were getting a little gas, but that's because they're older. We look at Ultimo Guerrero, who is on the opposite side, where this man can go forever, and if you let him, he probably could. But this was a lot more hard hitting than I thought it was going to be. But then again, it is for this type of championship that Matthew Justice is holding for MLW. But my goodness, I think this is the most versatile I have seen Ultimo, because he started pulling out like, is that catch style wrestling from the British scene? Are we doing strong style stuff? I was like, Ultimo Guerrero, what else do you have in your bag that you have not been showing me lately? And like, it's those years of experience, man. I'm telling you. And then the icing on the cake for this one, the cherry on top, the creme de la creme, is the fact that this man walks out as our new MLW open weight or free open weight champion, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I got that feeling, Ancient Lo-Fi. This man is giving me brawler for those D&D nerds. He is giving me pugilist, where he can wrestle in the ring, but he also can fight in the streets. This was probably my favorite match of the whole entire Viernes Espectacular, and that's saying something because I also really enjoyed the main event. But this was a championship match, and I'm gonna have to revisit this one because it is in my like top 10 on my physical whiteboard, not even metaphorical. Like, I have it on a whiteboard somewhere to revisit these matches as we get closer to the end of the year. But this was a phenomenal match, and CMLL, MLW, can we get a round 2 between these two? Because I'd be here for it.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely. Papa Oso, what'd you think? Matthew Justice, Ultimo Guerrero.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautifully brutal, and I'm not familiar with Matthew Justice, but it was. It was Ultima Guerrero. I mean, he was literally like fighting like this was the end of the world, and and it was so. And I agree with Mikey on this. I mean, he was pulling stuff out that I have never seen before, and I was just like, "What? Wait, what? Where have you been keeping all this, dude? We've seen you fight so many times, and there's a couple of things in here I have never seen you do before." And I'm like, "I love it. You should keep doing whatever this is." And because now I guess you're going to have to now because you've got to defend a championship. But I was like, yay! I think I even put it in our little chat, like, hell yeah, Ultimo. I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled that he got it because honestly and truly, I feel like he deserves it. Because in the short time that I have known him as a wrestler, and I know many other people have a much longer history with him, but I have just been like, I feel that he is like, he should be on a poster. I feel like he should just be on a poster and people just go, I want to be that. I want to be Ultimo Guerrero. I want to be that guy. I want to go to wrestling school and learn, or whatever. I just think he has that, and he just has that sort of presence and that sort of energy and charisma, and I think he just deserves it. And I thought this was the perfect thing, the absolute perfect thing for him to get this championship. So yeah,
definitely. Two things from
I agree with Agent Lo-Fi on that. I don't know him, but I can feel that.
Yeah, definitely. So two things from my own little world here. Number one, this match, it was a great match. I feel like, to me, this match felt like what I call the Rocky IV end fight match. So for no one that has ever seen it, at the end of Rocky IV, Rocky's the boxer. Every movie, there's like a big montage. There's a big person that he has to fight at the end. In Rocky IV, I feel is the most brutal of the end fights. And there's this beautiful score done by Vince DiCola that like tells the story along with what's happening on the screen. It has like exciting parts, sad parts, etc. And watching wrestling, I often will, when I watch matches, I'll try to match that music up with the match to see if it's giving that dramatas that I feel like it should. This match met that dramatas for me. It felt like, at the at the end, Matthew Justice came in. He was really, putting the screws to Ultimo Guerrero, and then Ultimo Guerrero starts coming back, and then, Matthew Justice starts fighting back, and then, at the end, you get that dan, 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 and then Ultimo Guerrero, ba, 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 and then boom, he gets the 1, 2, 3, and he gets the belt. So that was, that was great. What was the second thing I had? I can't remember the second thing.
You got so excited you forgot.
No. Yeah, no. And then the second thing I had was I was really interested to see how Matthew Justice was going to wrestle without being in a small venue. Because the times that we've seen him wrestling in MLW, he has utilized the small venue. He has climbed up to the top of ramparts and done, dives off of that. He's pulled out tables. He's tossed people into chairs, like that. Just like when it's to me, like when I watch Matthew Justice wrestle in MLW, that's kind of like pre-programmed. Okay, when are we going to get that spot where Matthew Justice drags the guy? Oh, there they go into the crowd, here he, Arena Mexico is not a small venue at all, but I feel like he still was able to get some of that offense going. He did do some jumps doing double fist Kirk chop down on Ultimo Guerrero. Off of Barricade. But it was a well wrestled match, both individuals, very entertaining. I agree as well. This is also on that top 10 list. Good to know that CMLL is not keen on outside barrier battles. So nowadays, good to know. Gracias, Agent Lo-Fi. Definitely, yeah, it was a good match. And this brings us to Ultimo Guerrero is your new openweight champion for MLW, and this brings us to our main event, pitting the time splitter Kushida versus a returning to Viernes Espectacular Místico. He did wrestle in the children's show on Sunday at Arena Mexico. Místico did. So this wouldn't be his first match back, but this is his first match back in Viernes Espectacular. Still a lot of question marks. How his arm's doing. How because he has had a lot of time off. To see how he was going to react to Kushida, and really well fought match. In the end, we do get Místico coming up with the win. Not with the Mística, however, which I'll bring that up later. Papa, also, let's start with you. Our main event. How'd you like it?
I really liked it, but I am also going to agree with Agent Lo-Fi in the fact that it was really good, but didn't end up with an Ultimo Guerrero win at the end. But I love Kushida. I love him so much. Every time I see him, I just smile. And I love how he's gotten even more sort of crazy with his costuming. I love this. I love everything about this man, and it was so fun. And it was really cool to see him go up against Místico. I thought that was really neat. What a neat pairing that was. And but I totally like this one. I really did. I like this one as well. I mean, obviously the Ultimo Guerrero one was my absolute favorite match of the night, but this one was pretty close. I really like this one.
Jefe?
So it's no surprise to me that I'm always going to root for my boy Kushida because I am a big fan of his. But I was really excited to see that Místico would be, well, at least on Viernes Espectacular, would be coming back, after having some time off to deal with his injury and all that good stuff, and to be able to have this match. I still think it was really, really solid beginning to end. Místico is fantastic. Kushida is fantastic. And I still really, really, really love this match. And I think it's a lot of fun. But I think this was a really fantastic match. So the in-ring was solid. It was really good. But I feel that nothing. I agree with Will and Agent Lo-Fi. I think this was a fantastic main event for a Viernes Espectacular, but it just was going to be hard to compete with the moment of watching Ultimo get that belt put around his waist after he won it. So I loved it. It was great. Also, I agree with Agent Lo-Fi because I did tune in for that match because I wanted to see how it would go, and it did not disappoint with Kushida and Templario from yesterday's show. It was it was a really fun match. And we're gonna talk about you in a little bit, Templario, because you're gonna be busy this weekend, my boy. But yeah,
Indeed.
love this
Indeed.
match. It was great.
Yeah, it was a good match. It's great to see Mystico back. It does, I feel, it felt like Mystico is still a little holding back a little bit. It was interesting that Kushida didn't go straight towards Mystico's bad arm as because Kushida again, one of those characters that on MLW is more of babyface like tweener, if you will. But of course, here in CMLL, he's coming out as the Rudo, especially wrestling against Mystico. So it was interesting to see that instead of going after Mystico's bad arm, he went after Mystico's good arm for a majority of the match, and then in the latter half of the match, he went after Mystico's bad arm. Also interesting to see that Mystico hit the Mystica on Kushida. As we know, the Mystica is Mystico's move, his finisher. Kushida was able to kind of squirm out of it, and Mystico reversed it into a torture rack small package situation and got the submission out of Kushida that way. I feel like it shows Mystico's ring acumen. I mean, he is the face of CMLL, so yeah, he is going to have that. But I feel like it also showed how good like Kushida is to work with that. But it was great match, very entertaining. Yeah, definitely. I feel overshadowed by the Ultimo Guerrero match just because Ultimo Guerrero got his moment. But it was a good match. And this was the end of the MLW, CMLL versus MLW Viernes Espectacular from Arena Mexico. Coming up this Friday, este viernes en el Viernes Espectacular, este viernes, we have going back to good old CMLL goodness. Our first match, we will be seeing Fuego versus El Coyote. Our second match, we're going to have Amazona action, which with Princesa Suhui and India Su versus Zuxis and Reina Isis. Our next match will be Star Black, Fugaz, and Explosivo versus El Cobarde, Hijo de Stuka Jr., and Felino Jr. In a evento especial, or a special event, we are going to see Atlantis and Blue Panther versus the Gemelos Diablo 1 y 2. I can't wait. So excited. So excited. I just see Atlantis backbreakers all around. So fun. Anyway, after that, we're going to be seeing Atlantis' son, Atlantis Jr., facing off. He's going to be with Atlantis. It's going to be Atlantis Jr., Star Jr., and good old Flip Gordon versus Volador Jr., Defunto, and returning Kojima. Interesting mix there. And in our main event, we are going to be seeing a returning Sky team to Viernes Espectacular of Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Neon versus Los Infernales, Averno, Uferio, and Mephisto. I'm excited just so I can see Los Infernales back in action again. Yeah, Agent Lo-Fi, I agree. This seems like a solid yet standard Viernes Espectacular card. I am, but as you said, it's just good. It's good. So and also if you can't watch Viernes Espectacular, then CMLL does have other shows throughout the week. They have a Sunday show from the Arena Mexico. On Mondays, they have shows at the Arena Puebla. On Saturdays and Tuesdays, they have on shows at both Arena Mexico and at the Arena Coliseo at Guadalajara. Martes de Glamour from Arena Coliseo, Guadalajara. All of these do end up on the CMLL YouTube channel. So please, please go check out the Lucha. Go watch the Lucha, please, 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 please. It's really good. And then we have some upcoming Lucha with CMLL talent. As we mentioned, this weekend is our watch along, Mira lo Largo, where it's going to be Azteca Lucha, MLW versus CMLL in Chicago, Saturday, May 10th. Our start time is going to be 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:50 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 6:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. June 17th on Tuesday, for the Tuesday Arena Mexico show, it is going to be CMLL versus AEW and ROH. And then on June 18th, for the Wednesday show, the Wednesday Night Dynamite, I should say, from Arena Mexico, we are going to have Grand Slam Mexico sold out. A lot of hype coming into it. So get ready. And we got the Copa Junior. Yeah, we got the Copa Junior tournament coming as well. And now I'm going to toss it over to Mikey for Los Noticias. Coming over the wire.
Wow, thank you. So here, Shay. I'm just kidding. No, I can't do that for the whole entire time. But I do have a little bit of news. As we reported last week, we did get the reveal that Titan would be representing CMLL in the New Japan Best of the Super Juniors tournament. We have a little bit more information. Those matches and that tournament will be happening right after Dominion. So Dominion for New Japan is slated to be Sunday, June 15th. And then once Dominion is over, then we will get into a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I believe, for Best of the Super Juniors, which is kind of exciting. And then which all, of course, leads into the G1 Climax in July and August, which is going to be a lot of fun. But I do have some news to share in the sense that, of course, that's also tied in with some upcoming Lucha. So don't mind me. I'm going to be presenting some graphics because I do want to talk about, because we do have a lot of CMLL talent all over the place this weekend. So first and foremost, on Friday, May 9th, we do have CMLL talent being represented in New Japan's Resurgence show happening from Ontario, California. So your boy secured tickets and is going to be watching all that goodness. So outside of just, amazing matches, just because it's going to be great, we do have our CMLL representative, the newest member of the United Empire, Templario, will be teaming up with Mr. TJP himself to take on the Best Coast, not the West Coast no more, the Best Coast Wrecking Crew. So they will be competing for the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. I would love to see them win because they would make my night better, but the fact that I get to actually see Templario wrestle in person is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait.
Yo,
and I do. So
NJPW, give Templario a ramp so he can do his running, jumping over the rope, moon flip thing.
I'm interested to see what happens with all of that. So I cannot wait. I think this is going to be a fantastic match for sure. And now that I think about it, I think this is the first for any of us three that we get to see CMLL star in action. So this is going to be fun. I can't wait. This is going to be good. Or at least in person, I should say. But then we also get into what is currently happening on Saturday. So I am super excited because this is MLW and CMLL's Azteca Lucha. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we got to go over this card because this is packed with surprisingly a majority of CMLL talent. So,
surprise, surprise. I'm not surprised. Spoilers.
well, because initially I was like, okay, we're probably going to get a fine balance between the two. But a majority of the matches outside of one is nothing but CMLL, and I'm kind of here for it. So, first and foremost, we do have a tag team match scheduled where we're going to see Atlantis, senior, not junior, teaming up with Esfinge to take on the team of Guerrero Maya Jr. and the Alchemist of CMLL, Hechicero, which makes me super excited. I miss Echi. I can't wait to see him again. It's been a hot minute. I'm excited to see him this Saturday. It's going to be great. But on top of that, in a triple threat, Místico versus Templario versus Ikuru Kwan. Oh, this match is going to slap.
There's going to be so much Contra shenanigans going on.
Probably, but the fact that Templario and Místico and Ikuru will be in the same ring together, these three have kind of been in the same scene over that featherweight championship. So it makes me excited for these three to be fighting. Is going to be great. Technically CMLL because this is Kojima taking on Alex Hammerstone, and I'm like, Kojima's going to die. It's going to be kind of great. I'm not going to lie. Alex Hammerstone. Well,
as long as he gets his slaps in, that's all I care.
That is very true.
I just want to see my Kojima slaps. That's
that
all.
is true. Papa Osa, we both know how hard Alex Hammerstone can go, so this is going to be intense, which makes me super excited. And then, of course, you know, this was just made. Cannot wait for the open weight title. Ultimo Guerrero will be taking on Zanbuken Jr. and Barbaro Cavenario.
Rudo contra Rudo.
This is going to slap as well. Cannot wait. Oh, this is going to be so good. And then, of course, just made not too long ago for the MLW World Tag Team titles, Los Depredadores will be taking on Blue Panther Jr. and Dark Panther. I'm excited.
Hey, Papa, also, we got our answer.
You're just like, who are they going to face first? And this was announced today. Or yesterday, I should say, but even still. But I'm super excited that we do have one more match that's not MLW related, and that is for Matthew Riddle's MLW World Heavyweight Championship. It is going to be him versus Donovan Dijak. So will Dijak walk out as champion? We shall see. Who knows? But that has been your noticias for this episode.
And that is our show for tonight. Really quick, in regards to Azteca Lucha, yes, Agent Lo-Fi, I agree. As a Lucha guy, I'm not complaining about this being mostly a Lucha show. So, I mean, to be fair, what was it? Battle Riot? The first like half of Battle Riot was all
right.
So like,
all the CMLL town. They're like, hey, we got to get you all in and out in a timely manner.
Yeah,
and
right. So
I love the crowd was so hard pressed and booing along with us when
when Blue Panther
got eliminated. That broke my heart.
Yeah. So, but anyway, thank you for joining us. Gracias para estar aquí. Agent Lo-Fi, our primo. Thank you for joining us and giving us the word on the street. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those social media things. And yeah, we will be back next week to cover this week's Viernes Espectacular and also Azteca Lucha. We'll do a little bit of both. So for me, El Jefe, and Papa also, just remember that I'm Biconic, you're Biconic, we are all Biconic, so be Biconic together. Hablamos luego. I can do this outro. Hang on. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. I'm bye.
Me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien.